looking for clever. Let's just get myself a drink. Okay. And what will we be doing today? Let me just set this up on the chat so I can see the chat easily. Got my tablet over here so I can see it. There we are. We're having fun. We're going to have fun. This morning was a bit of a major thing with me going for my walk and everything, but we need to make a nice pasta meal. We're at that point in the house, unfortunately, when we don't have much other than tin stuff and some onions and some bits and pieces left. Which is good, really, when you think about it, because it allows us to cook things that everybody, and I mean everybody, can get hold of. There isn't really any of us that can't get these basic items, I hope. Okay, so I think that looks like... I might even put one of those in. Who knows? Right. First things first. Heyo. Is this thing on? Is it working? Yes, it's working. We have audio. We have video. We have channel working. I'm always surprised at that. First thing I need to do, start to heat up some water for the pasta. So I'm just going to half fill a pan and put it on the heat. Anybody can do that. I'm not adding anything to it, just stick it on the burner, put the lid on, turn on the stove and let it boil. Boiling some water. Anybody can do that, yes. I can do that. I've got all my bits and pieces. Pepper, sea salt, paprika. I'm going to use some paprika in it. I might even put some chilli in. I don't know yet. I've got to get my mixed herbs, which are here. All basic things that you can get hold of. There's nothing in what I'm doing that's fancy. So, first thing we're going to do, after we've done that, is use a knife to chop up a green pepper. Well, it's a mixed pepper and it's a red one, actually not green. I thought it was a green one there. It's my last pepper in the house. No more peppers after this one's used. Oh well. Put that there. We need something to put the bits in. So, we are just preparing a sauce. All I do is cut the pepper in, cut the top off it, cut the bottom off it. That's the way I've always done it. Suppose I could save some more of the pepper, but it's enough pepper for what I'm doing. There, so shooting them in. Get rid of all the seeds out of the pepper. Basic red pepper, sliced down to just that. Nothing fancy, and then I'm looking forward to the fleet tonight. It's going to be 6 PM Eve time, which is going to be 7 PM my time. But I'm going to start the stream at 6 PM my time. I'm going to start it an hour early and talk about Paola and my reason for doing all of this for an hour. We'll play some Eve music and things like that. It should be fun. Where's my onions? I need a couple of onions. A couple of nice little, they're only basic onions from Asda, nothing special about them. I am one of those few lucky people who can slice onions without having eyes problems, having eyes problems. So I don't get tears when I do the onions. So we're going to have 2 of these tiny little onions. They really are tiny. So I just quarter them and put them in. I will add a small amount of coconut cooking oil. You can use whatever oil you want. I use this because it's healthy. It's one of the healthiest things to cook in, I believe. So, comes out like it didn't really, will it? There. So, we have the basics of our thing. Turn this on. Turn your pie to start with until it heats up and then turn it down. Let's throw away the stuff we can throw away. I don't want anybody to feel guilty about blowing up the ships tonight. Paola loved explosions and loved playing Eve. Oh. So don't feel guilty about shooting them arrows and destroying my corpse if you're going to be in there. So we've got those. We just let them heat up. We're letting the water boil. What else do I want to add? I've got a lot of things out here and I need to decide whether I need them all. I think I'm going to put the chopped tomatoes away. I'm going to use tomato soup. I will use new potatoes. New potatoes make a nice addition to a pasta meal. The basic idea of this pasta meal is, it's a basic meal that I used to do a long time ago. It's a tin of tuna, some spaghetti and tomato soup. And that was the meal. That was the basic meal. But then you add cheese if you go in, you add spices. You use that as what I call a base meal. It's the meal that you can then decide, okay, I did it this time, this way this time. Next time I can fry up some green peppers. See like that? Or onions. And make a sauce myself. It's a good starting point for anybody who wants to cook. Put this off. Tuna chunks. Basic tuna chunks in, I think it's sunflower oil. Yeah, put the tuna chunks away. We're not doing anything fancy. I don't do measurements because I think when most people, when you want to cook something, you can either do a recipe, which is something someone else has done, and follow that almost materialistically, military-wise, and you've got to have this grams of such and such, and it's got to be cooking for this amount of time. Or you can just use your instinct. You can look at what you're cooking and see, that looks like it's cooking, that looks like it's burning, you turn it down if it's burning. You learn. You don't need the actual amount. The only thing I'll tell you is, the only quantifiable amount I've used in this entire meal is 12 minutes. From the moment I put the spaghetti inside the boiling water, about 12 minutes later it will be done. That is the only guide I give myself. I know that the pasta will be done in about 12 minutes. Not almost boiling, I will get the pasta there ready. The spaghetti. I love spaghetti. Paola was half Italian. One day I'm going to do a lasagna. I might, next time I do a shop, which will be on Friday, next Friday. I don't have any money to get any food into that. That's why we're going down the stuff at the moment. I'm just using the tins. She made a really nice lasagna and she taught me how to make it. So I will make a lasagna. I'll get the items in to be able to make it. That is gorgeous. I am not adding any garlic this time. I usually do, but I forgot to get it out, and I don't want to move the camera. So I'm not adding oil. Okay, that water is now boiling. So let's get the, I don't measure the amount of pasta I'm going to put in there. I just estimate based on what I know. So that much for me. I'll just break it off, put it in. And when you're cooking pasta like this, all you have to do is make sure it doesn't crumple and it doesn't stick to the bottom of your pan. Tip: get yourself a set of steel saucepans. These didn't cost much, about £20 when we bought them. I had them for years, and your food doesn't burn, doesn't stick to the bottom of it. It equalises the heat over the entire bottom of the pan. It's very good to have something like that. Just like having a good iron skillet can be used. This can be put in the oven, it can be used on a barbecue. These ones are induction friendly and you use microwave, gas, hob and barbecue. So I can use them outside if I do a fire pit meal. All those things are fun. Right, now, so the pasta is cooking. I will put a timer on here, just as a guideline, for 12 minutes. The meal will be ready by 12 minutes from now. Oh, look at that. That's going now. You may think it's weird putting boiled new potatoes in one of these meals. Cheap as can, just going to get out. Where have I put my... I have put... there it is. My tin opener. I need my tin opener. So I'm going to open these and put them in. Just getting rid of the water that they come in. Right. Let's just... They will fizzle. Much fizzling. Feel free to ask me any questions in chat if you want to. So what we've got is that. They're already cooked, so they don't actually need cooking. But what we need to add now is the tomato soup. I could use chopped tomatoes, but sometimes a basic tomato soup, and it's better if you go for the basic cheap one, the ones that have the least amount of ingredients. Check the salt and sugar amounts in them. The ones I get are really good on salt and sugar, they don't have too much in. I don't put salt in a meal if I've used a soup as a base. Soup makes an amazing basis for meals. So if I put that in there, basic tomato soup. Yeah, we're making a pasta meal, and this is going to be sauce with. There, so I can turn this up a bit and let it just. I can also start adding pepper. Put the tuna in last. Pepper. Personal preference, how much pepper and salt in any meal. It's all based on your taste buds, on what you like. If the best way to do it is just to test. Get yourself some small spices and herbs packs and just see what happens. See whether it tastes nice. That's what it's down to, the taste, and only you. I know how much to put in for myself of mixed herbs. I know how much cayenne pepper I can put in a meal and it not overdo it. I know how much paprika I can put in without it being too much for me. Especially when I'm not doing a chili meal, when I'm just want to add a bit of a spice to the pasta sauce. Yeah. There, so that will, so now sometimes I drain these. These are tuna, basic tuna, and sometimes I drain them, but the oil in them coats the potatoes and coats the pasta. They're actually really nice. Well, you can drain them. Of course, it's less calories if you drain it. I'm just going to go open this and pour it in. I'm going to turn that down to number 5. This is all about inspiring you to cook yourself. You don't have to follow this recipe. This is what I call a base recipe, and I'm taking it in the direction of a little bit of a spicy sauce with some tuna. There. I'm going to just add this to turn it into an oily sauce. Throw these away. Right. Just going to check this chat and make sure. Use the dashboard. Yeah. If anybody has questions or anything about this meal, it's very straightforward. This is, or even about anything else I'm doing today, the fleet, or questions about Eve. Feel free to ask me. I am not someone who hides away from real life questions. Ooh, that looks and smells gorgeous. So tuna, potatoes, a tin of tomato soup, and then some herbs and spices and some onions. That is the basic meal. It is what we have. If anybody needs any advice on cooking, I'm not an amazing cook. I do okay. Right, the pasta's cooking well. So today's plan is at 12 o'clock, or maybe a little bit before then, I don't know. I will go on, do my normal Assassin's Creed Origins, do a bit of a playthrough on that. Then I will move over to Fallout 4 and see if I can survive. And then I might do a little bit of balloons early. Or I don't know, I might end up on Fortnite before 5. At 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock is usually when I eat. So I'll do that normally. And then when I come back, it was time to get ready for the fleet. Oh, that does look gorgeous. I think that can be turned on. That is ready. That is ready nowhere. Yeah, that's ready. Wipe off some of the stuff that's gone out here. There. That is gorgeous. Waiting for the pasta to do. I turned off the timer, but I don't need to. I'm going to actually, I turned off both sets of, that needs about another 2 more minutes. I can tell by the colour of the pasta and how it looks to me. But the actual sauce is done. It's a very basic meal, pasta. Well, not really. I've turned it into a more advanced meal with all the things I've added. There should be no reason anyone out there can actually do this. It's a quick meal as well. I hope everybody's having a good day. I mean, from the start of this, we've only been on 20 minutes. I still believe that anybody can make their own food, as long as you've got access to the items. and I'm using mainly tin stuff at the moment because it's later in the week before my food shop. Well, I should do a food shop on Fridays. So this is good. Anybody should be able to make something like that. And if you fail, what's the worst that happens? You learn. I believe. Oh, that's just about done. Yep, that's just about done. I am going to actually turn that back off now. This dish is done. I will have some of it now and some of it at tea time before I come on. If anybody's got any questions before I go, before we shut down the stream, then just ask. No? No questions? I don't think there's any questions. I'm very quiet this morning. I hope the chat's working. I'm always paranoid when I don't hear anything from the chat about what's going on. But I don't mind people lurking. Trying to find where I put stuff. So I will actually say goodbye because I'm just going to drain that out. Everything's working fine. Thank you. Thank you for watching. And any questions, just ask me on my chat at 12. Bye bye for now.